Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find the content useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape, or form. I just want to give this channel some love. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So in a moment, we're going to be discussing intimacy versus sex in regards to relationships and dating specifically, but it might lead into other types of relationships. So stay tuned for that. If you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Diversity book. I'm also an asexuality coach specializing in dating and relationships. So let's crack on with tonight's video. So what inspired tonight's video? Well, I'm in a dating group that's not aimed at asexuals, and in this dating group there's lots of entrepreneurs, so business people that are out to make a difference in the world. And this particular guy I came across is in the UK, and aesthetically he was quite attractive, so I thought I'd message him to see what type of relationship he's after. And I also asked him what country he comes from. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up, lots of love. So I said to him, I am in the dating group too and live in the UK, but I am heteromantic, asexual in sexual orientation, not heterosexual. Which country are you originally from? Oh, hi, Destiny. Oh, thank you so much for the love and the hugs. Thank you so much, Destiny. Lots of love to you. Oh, hello, Liam. Hey, Sandra, great to see you. Oh, thank you. You said great to see Toy. Does that mean great to see me or great to see my toys, my cuddly toys? Oh, well, great to see everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Destiny. Appreciate you. Yeah, love the love. So this person, yeah, they're in one of the same dating groups as me. And I said, but I'm hetero, romantic, asexual in sexual orientation, not heterosexual. Which country are you originally from? I think he said company then. He said, hey, Sandra, how are you? I am heterosexual and looking for a girlfriend in an intimate relationship. I am a British-born Indian. Of all the blimmin' ethnicities to have, my favourite ethnicity, Indian. Megan, hello, Sandra. Me and Nick are watching a movie tonight, so we'll join your stream another time. Oh, lots of love to you and Nick. Yes. Enjoy your time together. Liam, both you and your toys. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lewis, hello, Lewis. Lots of love to you. Nice to see you. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Any other thumbs up is greatly appreciated because it does help raise awareness of asexuality and get more eyeballs on this channel. So it's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much. Lovely to see all of you tonight. So this particular guy was a British-born Indian guy. I didn't know what nationality, ethnicity was until I actually messaged him. And so yeah, he said I'm heterosexual though. He's not. Thanks for the thumbs up. He's not asexual, and looking for a girlfriend in an intimate relationship. We're going to talk about this in a moment, right? And so he put, I'm British-born Indian. I'm not looking for an asexual relationship. I wish you luck, right? So this was my reply. Thank you for being honest, because there's lots of guys who aren't honest. There was one guy I even had in this dating group the other day, and he completely lied about being asexual, right? He's like, I've had a really bad relationship. I've been hurt really badly, so therefore I've not got any sexual feelings. Asexuality is a sexual orientation. It's not to be used just because you've had a bad breakup and, you know, can't move on with your life and heal your past wounds, right? It's a genuine sexual orientation that's a lack of sexual attraction, you know? And when I basically stopped replying to him, he blocked me anyway. So I don't think he was a very genuine guy. And he lived miles away and he started going, oh yeah, basically let me come over and be with you. You know, when a guy starts saying stuff like that, it's warning bells. Ding-dong, ding-dong, ding-dong. It's either desperation or some crazy person on the internet. You do not go and be with anyone just like that. I even had a guy on ASAP who meant to be asexual, who lives in Europe, in the European country. I told him I don't fly on a plane. I don't travel abroad. I don't go on a plane, right? If I ever do go abroad, it's only usually to Disneyland Paris by Eurostar, right? So I told him this is on ASAP, and he still decided to say, come on over and visit me. It's like, I've only just started talking to you. Yeah, no, first of all, I don't fly on a plane. I told you that, basically. So that means he doesn't listen, or he doesn't acknowledge what I'm saying, which is really bad. You don't want to be in a relationship with a guy like that who completely ignores what you're saying and basically doesn't take you seriously. And then it was like, I'm not going to go to a foreign country with a guy that's just started messaging me who don't know who the heck he is. So I said, before I even meet up with you, it would have to be in my own country. And I prefer the guy to come to me, and I would have to connect with you on Facebook and get to know you as a friend first and video chat with you. And of course he goes, oh, this app is fine for now, because people that aren't genuine, they don't want to connect on Facebook, because then you see what they're really like, right? If they're really interested in you and they're interested in meeting you in your country and they really like you, they'll do whatever it takes to come over and see you themselves, not expect someone to go over there when they've just met them, right? It's just bang out of order. So anyway, this guy in the UK was really honest, and I really appreciate that, because there's a lot of guys who aren't honest. And, I get fed up with them, pretending to be asexual, or pretending they can live without sex, or, living abroad and not even acknowledging the fact that I want someone in the UK. It's like, how many times do I have to write in my profile, UK, UK, UK? Surely you can spell and you have eyes to see. Do you know what I mean? But it's like they completely ignore you. So anyway, this was a very, very, very respectful conversation between me and this guy, actually, because I said, thank you for being honest. I too desire intimacy, but not sex, which is what we're going to discuss in a moment. They aren't the same. And this is very, very important, because people mix the two, especially heterosexuals. If you say intimacy, or they say intimacy, they think it means sex. And we'll discuss different forms of intimacy in a moment, right? So I said, thank you for being honest. I too desire intimacy, but not sex. They aren't the same. People mistake the two. I don't kiss my friends. Thanks for clarifying your position. Good luck to you too. And I appreciate you not messing me around. Good day to you. So then he said, thank you for being upfront, which is nice, respectful. To clarify, I would be looking for a relationship with a woman, including sex, once I settle down with them. Good luck and good day to you. So it was all very polite. And I said, appreciate that. I know Indian guys usually like marriage and kids and to live together too, which is the opposite to what I want. Even the asexual ones want marriage and to live together. I've lived on my own for years and never wanted kids. Anyway, I can tell you're an honest soul, and that is great. Wishing you a very beautiful day ahead. So that's how the conversation ended. And I want to talk to you about intimacy versus sex. So if you're talking to a heterosexual person, or a sexual person in general, right, they think that when you say I'm interested in an intimate relationship, that it automatically involves having sexual intercourse, right? But intimacy is a huge, huge, huge topic, and there are so many different ways that you can be intimate with someone without having sexual intercourse. So it's very important that you spell out to these people that intimacy does not equate to sex, right? Sex is a physical act that some people choose to do. Some people feel that's the way they can express their love. Other people don't think it's got anything to do with love, and that would not express love because they don't love in that way. Hence asexuals. So it's a matter of perspective as to what actually the person feels is intimate for them, or when they talk about intimacy. So whenever you get into a relationship, or you're thinking about getting into a relationship, it's very important that you discuss intimacy with the person, or if you're polyamorous, the people that's involved, right? You can be intimate and be asexual without having sexual intercourse, or you can also be asexual and choose to have sex if you wish to, if you're not sex repulsed and you don't mind giving it a go, having a try, doing it anyway, right? So, but intimacy is a huge, huge topic. So first of all, you can be intimate without having any physical contact with the person whatsoever. So ways in which you can be intimate without any physical sexual contact whatsoever, not even any physical contact, is through sharing your emotions. This is the number one form of intimacy throughout the globe, really, that people don't really talk about, right? But when you come across people, you connect with people. The reason that some people become more closer friends with you than others is because of the emotional intimacy you're sharing with that person, right? This is why some affairs happen as well, because, you know, some people can get their emotional intimacy needs met elsewhere outside of a physical relationship, and the physical relationship might not live up to their expectations of satisfying their emotional needs. So this is something that isn't very much talked about in dating and relationships. It isn't brought to people's attention that much. All the intimacy is very much focused usually on physical stuff, but this is the deepest form of intimacy, is when you're not even touching and you're emotionally connected to that person. The way you do it usually is by sharing your feelings, your thoughts, and being very, very authentic and opening up. So you might share some problems that you had in childhood. You might share some trauma you had. You might share, if you're into having kids or you've already had kids, you might share when you first had your child, you know, and you talk about it. You might share something that no one else knew, a very, very big secret about you that no one else knew. All these are forms and acts of intimacy at the deepest level, because you are connecting on that deep soul root, which is what gels people together. People tend to go and be attracted to people based on emotions. And this is often overlooked, right? But if you ever study psychology or anything like that, or marketing, for example, you will know that people respond based on emotions. That's the truth. So obviously, emotions can come with physicality. You know, they could see a naked body and that could stir up emotions for them. So I'm not saying there's no physical component to this, but there doesn't have to be. You could just be sharing a very, very intimate secret, like maybe something you did as a child or something that happened to you as a child that you wished hadn't happened to you, or that you feel really naughty about. Maybe you did something that most people would consider as taboo, or, you know, you got away with something that you shouldn't have done, you know? And by sharing these secrets with someone, you're being very, very intimate. They're knowing stuff about you that not many people, if anyone else, knows. And this is intimacy at the very deep core foundational level. So if you're the type of person that's very open and very honest, you can find that you have a lot of deep and meaningful emotional connections with people, and you can connect with people on a very emotional level very quickly and easily. Now, for me personally, I didn't used to have emotional connection with people. As a child, I was very kind of introverted, even though I'm much more extroverted now. I was very withdrawn into myself. I didn't like my childhood the majority of the time. I'm not going to lie to you. I was depressed, anxious, very upset and sad and lonely and lost at that point in my life. My life has completely changed now, and I love my life. It's absolutely fantastic, right? So I've changed and grown as a person so much since then, but I didn't have such emotional intimacy with other people. Like, I would share stuff with them, but they would hold back sharing stuff from me a lot of the time, right? So intimacy, in order to feel intimacy with another person, they have to share back to you as well, to actually have that two-way intimacy. So if you're looking for an intimate relationship that doesn't have sexual intercourse, or perhaps you'll even touch a verse and you don't even want any touching whatsoever, you need to work on the emotional intimacy part of that relationship. You know, it's very, very important, but it needs to be two ways in order to actually have a deep emotional connection. Otherwise, it'll feel very one-sided, and it will feel maybe even a bit toxic to you, because it's like you're giving, 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 and they're giving you nothing. You don't even know what the heck they're doing. You don't even know who they are, right? So intimacy at the very deepest level is based on emotional connection and emotions. That's the truth that people aren't talking about in traditional dating and relationship coaching, whereas I talking about it now, you know? So emotional intimacy is so important. Danny, Oh, you're from Russia. Oh, I'm glad you told me, Danny, because I can't read Russian. Lots of love to you. Thanks for coming here. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So that's one way of having intimacy. Another is to share passions for hobbies and interests. So, oh, thanks for the thumbs up. So say you're a writer. I'm a writer, as you know. I'm the author of this book. I'm author of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook and a number of other books, right? So writing is my huge passion. It's a love of my life, right? I absolutely adore writing. And if I talk to someone else who's a writer, particularly if they're not doing it in the same sort of niche as I am, they're doing it in a different niche, because then there's kind of no competition, if you like. It's more like a sense of love and admiration. Then, you know, it feels so good. It's another form of intimacy when you both share the same passion. So if you both share love of writing, like, for example, there's a guy in ASAP. Romantically, I don't think there's anything there at all, right? But we both have a love of writing. And when he talks about his writing and I talk about my writing, I feel like in those moments, it's more of an intimate connection, right? We connect more on a soul level. And even like we share more than just writing, but, you know, writing's a big thing for both of us. And they're very encouraging as well, you know? So another form of intimacy is feeling supported as well, because intimacy is all about feeling close to that person. So you feel close to them emotionally, close in proximity, which can be the physicality stuff, and close in mindset, close in soul. So intimacy is all about being close to that person. I hope this is making sense. Liam, I don't bother with intimacy. The people I usually get attached to are people you don't meet. Oh, bless you, Liam. People I usually get attached to are people you don't meet. You might meet someone there, you never know. But, you know, sometimes you can be intimate with someone without it being like planned, if you know what I mean. You don't necessarily go and plan, I'm going to be intimate with you. Sometimes you just happen to have intimate moments because you're being totally open and honest, they're being totally open and honest. And if you, like I said, got a shared passion, then if you're both talking really enthusiastically and you're both having a conversation backwards and forwards, you can feel like this spark of connection there. And you can feel closeness and warmth to that person. Do you see what I mean? So we need to get away as a society from thinking sex is intimacy, because it's not. Intimacy and sex are two completely different things. Although some people find sex intimate because it is intimate in the sense of physical proximity. So with intimacy, you've got emotional proximity, you've got basically mind proximity, you've got spiritual connection proximity, you've got like creative passion proximity, you know, goals, shared ambitions, life dreams proximity. So it's all about how close you are in these different types of areas. You don't have to be close on every single thing, right? It's good to have some variances in your life. But but you have to have this sense of closeness in order to experience intimacy, because intimacy is about being close. Like, I am really close with my best friends, my best asexual friend, my best other friends, you know. I'm really close. The ones I'm closest to the most is because we share secrets and we trust each other and we share our lives with each other on a regular basis. We share what's happening in our lives. So it's like they're very much a part of our life, even though we're not physically there. And we very much trust each other. So another form of intimacy is trust. You know, when you trust someone, you're being very intimate with them because you're giving them a piece of yourself, a piece of the trust, right? Which is one of the most greatest, most powerful things you can ever give someone on planet Earth, right? Is the trust. It's hard to trust people. Very hard to trust people, you know? I mean, of course, we can be too trusting, but to totally really trust someone, that actually takes a lot of strength by both people, parties, everyone involved, you know? So the reason, like I said, I'm friends with, you know, got close friends, is we're not physically touching each other. I mean, we do hug hello and goodbye, but, you know, we can be apart for months like we have been during lockdown, and we can still feel really close because we're sharing our lives with each other. We're basically phoning each other, Skyping each other. So again, when you're on the phone and you're giving audio, the audio goes and kind of penetrates your cells throughout your body. It's a very, very powerful thing. This is why more and more people are listening to audiobooks and audio tracks, right? Because they can do something else as well, but it gets in the mind. It's very, very powerful. It has a profound effect. Everything, where it's visual, whether it's auditory, you can hear it, or whether it's spoken, all these things are ways and means that you can be intimate with someone. You know, if you could say words that just invoke intimacy with someone, it could be very much loving, caring words, you know? And obviously, if you put multiple aspects together at once, then you can get even more intimacy, which is why sexuals do like sex in some way. Some of them are just sexually driven. They just want sex for the sake of it. And others see it more that they can connect on a more close level physically because they enjoy that. If you do not enjoy sex, you're not going to get physically close to someone. It's just going to repel you and you'll want to go run away probably, or think that's disgusting, and it's going to actually put you off them and tear you away from them, right? So if you're an asexual that's sex repulsed, you don't like it, you hate it, you feel sick at the sound of it, you know, it's not going to be the intimate thing for you. It's going to repel you. It's going to make you walk the other way. It's going to make you run a mile. You're not going to want to feel close to that person physically because you're just going to think they want to take that from you. So that's not going to be your intimacy. That's going to be the opposite. Liam, I don't usually trust the first person. I learned to trust was a person I never met. I don't usually trust. The first person I learned to trust was a person I never met. Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. I don't usually trust people easily, Liam. My best friend Sam, I totally trust. I totally trusted them after 3 days of spending time with them. It was a miracle. It never happened in my life before. After just 3 days at Asexual meetup in my city. 3 days. And I'm going to see them. I'm going to London for the first time in over 2 years to see them on the 30th of this month, August. I booked the train. Remember, a life lived in fear is a life half lived. So I don't live in fear. I'm going. I'm all booked. The tickets are booked. I'm so excited. I haven't been to London for over 2 years. 2 years, people. 2 years. I love London. It's like my second home. So yeah, I'm going on the train, about 3.5 hours each way, but I'm going for the day. So I can't wait to see them. So, you know, but I totally trust them, you know. And so it's very, very important that, you know, people do not confuse the two. And it's good that that person did come back to me and explain what their intimacy is. So whatever type of relationship you're having with someone, even if it's friends, you know, friends experience different types of intimacy. Like I've said, you know, well, intimacy in terms of passion, in terms of sharing secrets, in terms of conversation, in terms of being in each other's lives. I mean, me, Andy, and Sam, we're best friends and we're always in each other's lives, always helping each other out, complimenting each other. I mean, it's like we've always meant to be together as a 3 friends, you know? It's really incredible. I cannot actually believe how awesome my life is with these 2 wonderful human beings in it. And they're just incredible. They're so supportive, but we all support each other. You know, that's the first time I've actually had what I would say is intimate, really intimate friends. I mean, I've had my friend Debs as well. She's female, but Debs has got a life of her own and she's kind of not in my life that much, you know, actively. But these 2 friends, Andy and Sam, I mean, they're just incredible human beings. And I just love my life even more because of them. They're so supportive, you know. So like I said, being supportive is a form of intimacy because it's bringing you closer to that person. So intimacy is all about being closer, whether that's visually, where you're hearing something, you know. That's why people, like I said, love audiobooks. I mean, I do research. Obviously, I've got my Asexual Guide to Sex book coming out. I've got my erogenicity channel that's going to be going live in a few months. Oh my God. I'm a little bit scared and excited about that at the same time, considering I'm asexual, and we'll get a lot of sexuals looking at that channel. But hey ho, if I can help sexuals, it means I help more asexuals because I need to spread more awareness of asexuality. So yeah, I'm quite like woo about that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But you know, I will always love being with asexuals. I love asexuality. I love being asexual. So, you know, it's very, very important that when you do discuss, if you're interested in a relationship, when you do discuss that you actually discuss, you know, what your intimacy is, right? Because even in the asexual community, right? I mean, obviously, like I said, you can have intimate friendships. Like, I didn't even think I would ever have an intimate friendship because I kind of thought having intimacy with friends is wrong. But it's not a physical intimacy. Like, I'm not going around kissing or cuddling them. That's completely off limits. That's reserved for my love of my life, whoever he is in the future, right? But, you know, it's intimate in the sense of the connection. You know, it's just off the charts, really powerful, amazing connection we all have together. And it's just like we're always meant to be like three best friends. It's incredible. And so, you know, it's important to know that sex is just one form of intimacy, one form of being close to someone that some people want to have and some people don't. And if you aren't asexual and you're listening to this, please understand that sex and intimacy are two completely different things, although sex can be one form of intimacy. But you need to spell it out what your intimacy is, right? You know, like, to me, kissing is my physical intimacy. You know, kissing is basically like my sex, you know, because I don't interested in sex itself, but kissing I absolutely love. So that is my physical intimacy with a guy, is kissing, sitting on his lap, cuddling, holding hands, all those type of physical stuff is my physical intimacy, right? And I was trying to explain this even in a Facebook post. Actually, I'm going to read this Facebook post out to you because it's very powerful. And I wrote it the other day, and I think it's very important to say it. Let me see if I can find it on my Facebook. So it's about asexuality, and I think it's really, really important that I read it out. Okay, let me find it. Right. Okay. More misconceptions about being asexual / asexuality. I think it's very important I read these to you. Dating. This is what the other person says. You should be in a long distance relationship with me because you won't find anyone else like you, right? First of all, this is narcissistic and manipulative, and you should be ashamed of yourself for even thinking and speaking like that. I have an abundance mindset, not a lack, where I have to be with you as you are my only option. That's not love, that's desperation and control at the highest level. Secondly, wrong. I have asexuals in my city. I hold in-person asexual meetups in my city, usually, some of whom travel hundreds of miles to attend. I have asexual friends who I talk to online in the UK and abroad. Just because I don't want sex doesn't mean to say I want a long-distance relationship, because I don't. I strongly desire, so this is where the intimacy comes in, I strongly desire to passionately kiss a guy for very long periods of time, to cuddle him, to stroke his beautiful hair, to sit on his lap, to touch his gorgeous lips, to hold his beautiful hand, to kiss his forehead, nose, and earlobes, to feel his arms around my back, to go out on dates, to look into each other's eyes in person while holding hands and talk about our goals, ambitions, and dreams, to go for walks together and just have non-sexual in-person fun. So all those things I've listed are my intimacy. Everything, you know, all those things are my intimacy. The cuddling, the holding hand, the kissing, the stroking the hair, all of that is. Talking about goals, ambitions, and dreams, right? When you share aspirations with each other, even if they're not the same complete goals, ambitions, and dreams, when you share your aspirations, your enthusiasm, there's an energy that you emit to the other person that gives you a deep sense of intimate connection with them. It brings you closer to them because you can feel their vibrancy and their energy. And that basically unleashes its vibrancy and energy into your being, whether that is virtually or whether that is in person. But whether it's in person, that's why in-person warmth and socialization is very important, because you kind of release the energy around you, which you can't do fully virtually, obviously, because people are not actually physically there in person. Right? So all these things, you know, go for walks together and have non-sexual fun. All these things together, you know, like going for a walk together, that's an intimate thing. Especially if you're sharing your day, your what's happening in your life, you know, if you're basically, even if you're looking at a moon together, and, you know, like if you are basically just looking and staring into the moon and you see this gorgeous beam of light coming from the moon and you're just experiencing that moment together, that's intimacy, because you're being close to that person, because you're being together. You're in close proximity together with the way you think and physically are if you're looking at the moon together. Do you see what I mean? So intimacy is all about being close to somewhere, that be physical, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It's all about close proximity to someone. And proximity is very, very powerful, right? A lot of people think of proximity as in how far you actually physically are to the person. They forget about these other types of proximities. These aren't talked about on other channels, right? I've been trained in personal professional development since 2012. So I talk about a lot of different stuff on this channel that you won't find anywhere else usually, very rarely, right? Especially in this type of context, because obviously I specialise in asexuality more than anything else. So, you know, it's all about being close to someone, close proximity, and this can be in a number of different areas. So this was a person, when I was writing this post on Facebook, I was trying to explain, you know, how you should treat an asexual and how you shouldn't treat an asexual, you know, and busting through misconceptions and stuff like this, you know. So it's really, really important, you know. I went further down, you know, and said about some of the people that I was talking to. And I said about dating, you know, the other person suggests, can we be platonic friends? And like me, I don't experience platonic attraction at all. This means I divert romantic feelings super quickly, especially for younger foreign guys, and especially Indian. I can't just be platonic friends. If you aren't my guy, make way for the one who is. It's not okay to be romantic with me and think that just because I'm asexual, that's fine. To get your romantic and emotional needs met by me while pursuing a sexual relationship with someone else, no. So you have to understand, as an asexual person, you've got a lot to give. A lot to give. But unfortunately, a lot of sexuals, they want all your giving to take it, and they usually can't give you the love without the sex, right? In a relationship, right? So it's very, very important that you don't let yourself be used, right? That it's not okay for them to use you for getting their emotional needs met, therefore carry on looking for someone else, right? You don't want to get intimate with a sexual person on an emotional, mental, spiritual level, and they basically still be pursuing a relationship with someone else if you are attracted to them and wish to be in a relationship with them yourself, right? Because this is what can happen if you've got any romantic feelings for a sexual person. Yeah, they are clearly not interested in you because you won't have sex or don't want to have sex, which is, of course, is your right, and that's very good if you don't want that, you know, to stick up and say what you believe in, you know, but don't let them use you. Move on, you know. I know some people are used by these type of people. You know, it doesn't mean to say you can't be friends with a sexual, but you have to understand your motive for being friends with that person and be consciously aware of it. So if you're attracted to the person more than a friend, you have to be consciously aware of that and keep an eye on it, that doesn't get out of control for you, and that the person doesn't take advantage of it, thinking they can get their emotional needs met with you and they can have sex with other people while still maintaining a very intimate connection with you, right? Which is not feeling good for you because you're wanting to be in a relationship with them. They can't give you that, right? If you're in that scenario, walk away, right? So I said my romantic feelings matter. They are how I experience love. If you aren't my soulmate, then take a backseat out of my life and make way for the man who can truly love me in his entirety without sex, wholly and completely, a real man, and never want or need sex with me. I'm truly not interested in that, and many guys are capable of love without sex. Even a rare few guys who are not asexual, who are heterosexual, because they have learned that they do not need to conform to social and other conditioning. They are no longer brainwashed into seeking the value of love and a relationship through the eyes of sex. They can be in a happy, loving, healthy relationship without sex ever and remain faithful always in a monogamous relationship. My romantic feelings and my love and heart are reserved for my gorgeous guy. If you are insecure and need romantic and emotional validation, go work on yourself. I am not here for you to pass the time and boost your ego to make you feel better. My kissing is my intimacy with the guy. That is equivalent to your sex. You could say kissing is my sex. It's my intimacy. I don't kiss my friends or cuddle my friends. That is reserved for my romantic partner. I have strong boundaries in place with my friends like this, and I also need a guy in a relationship with me who has the same boundaries. And I went on to say it's not okay to let other women touch your bum or go around kissing and cuddling them or tell them you love them or attracted to them or to be putting your arms around them and acting romantic/sexual with them. I should be able to trust that you will tell a woman who attempts this to take a hike and not put yourself in a position where you would be looking like you are even available for this. If you're not trustworthy in this way, you aren't my guy. Thinking just because I am asexual, my feelings don't matter. They do. You are not my guy. Move on. Right. And another thing, I said, if you want to kiss me privately, hold my hand in private and cuddle me just in private, but not publicly. You aren't my guy. I'm a free bird, not a caged animal. I love public displays of affection. I don't care what people think. Life is way too short. So basically, I'm going further down because it was a long post. Stop thinking that asexuals can be your emotional crutch and validation, and start realizing their love is the purest you can get, and don't abuse that. They deserve true relationship love without sex, not to be used for their asexual beauty, to have someone cherish it for all eternity and beyond. A relationship without sex is not just friendship. You can have a forever intimate/romantic monogamous relationship without sex ever. And it's definitely not just a friendship and a perfect, valid relationship. Its worth is just as important, even more. Because if you were to have an accident or illness, and although you aren't asexual, you couldn't have sex, an asexual could still love you for the person you are forever. Never underestimate the love of an asexual and never use it for your own means. So I hope you've understood more about the difference between sex and intimacy. Sex is just one form of intimacy that some people like to do or have. They like to be that close in proximity to the person that they're in them, basically, in some way. So, but sex is not intimacy. It's a form of intimacy that some people like and some people don't. And intimacy is the whole spectrum of things that can make you feel close to that person, whether that be spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, or other. So it's very, very important that these two are not confused, because they are very different. Like everyone thinks as soon as you say an intimate relationship that if you're sexual, it automatically they assume it means sex. So if you're asexual, please spell it out. Lewis, intimacy sounds far better then. Yeah, intimacy is far better, because at the end of the day, people can have sex, but it doesn't keep people together. That's why people have affairs, because a lot of the time they're emotionally lacking as well. I mean, some have affairs obviously because they're too obsessed with sex and they're not faithful, but a lot of the time it's because they haven't got enough intimacy in other aspects of their relationship, because they haven't been taught proper intimacy, and intimacy is far better because, like you can have a very deeply passionate connection and intimacy with someone in multiple areas, right? So if you just think about sex being one form of intimacy that some people like, some people don't, if you take that form of intimacy away, some sexual relationships, they don't last because they aren't intimate in that way. They aren't intimate in sharing passions. They don't want to let their secrets out. It's very vulnerable when you're in a relationship. You're very, very vulnerable. But to truly love on a deep emotional level, you need to let your guard down and trust someone. If someone abuses your trust, it's their problem, right? You can have friends abuse your trust, not just romantic partner, right? I have had people that I thought were nice people, and they turn out to not be nice like I thought they were, right? And all you can do is understand that you did the best you could do at the time, that you shared things with them because you thought they were trustworthy, even if they weren't trustworthy or were not being truthful to you. That is their problem, and you just have to move on from that and not blame yourself and just realize they've got their own stuff to deal with. Let them get on with it. But yeah, intimacy is better than sex because intimacy includes all these different types of things. Just imagine if you're looking for a relationship, just imagine if that person that you come across, you feel intimate, as in maybe you talking on the phone with them, right? And you're talking enthusiastic and the conversation is flowing. When a conversation is flowing, you automatically feel close to that person because you'll feel a connection with them. It might not even be romantic, but you feel connected to the person because it's a two-way conversation. It's like a current. If you think of the river as, constantly moving and flowing, if you're having a two-way conversation, it becomes very intimate because you're flowing together. You're flowing, you're gliding together. It's like a beautiful dance. And so, like, for example, I'm talking to some guys on ASAP, and we're, 3 different guys I've been talking to for a little while now, 2 particularly, and the conversation's flowing. So although there's like, romantically we aren't suited, I can tell we have some intimacy going on, even if they're not consciously aware of it. I am, but not intimacy as in I want to be in a relationship with you. Intimacy as in, I feel connected to you. I feel this conversation is flowing. I like you in my life. I like talking to you. This feels good because you're going backwards and forwards. You're flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing. It's not hard work, because when you're pushing against something and you're pounding against something, that's not intimate. That's like repulsion, repelling, because you're bouncing off the thing. Do you see what I mean? And it doesn't, especially if you like that person, and what's sad is when you've been in an intimate relationship and then something does change and you realize the person's not who you thought they were, but you just have to forgive yourself for trusting that person. And, you did the best you could. You've done nothing wrong, and walk away with your head held high, and move on to people who treat you better and who are going to keep your trust and be true to who they are. See, there's a lot of people in this world that aren't being their true authentic selves. Liam, I seldom, if ever, let my guard down. Yeah, I guess that, Liam. Yeah, I know. I mean, you don't want to be in a relationship because I know that you're quite scared of that. But in order to have that relationship, you need to let your guard down, because that's the only way you can be fully intimate with someone. If you don't have the, if you've got walls around you, you can't be fully intimate with someone because you've got these walls built around you. This is a blockage to being close to someone. That's why relationship is, it's one of the hardest things ever, an intimate type relationship, especially a romantic intimate type relationship, because you've got romantic intimacy going on as well as the normal intimacy going on of friendship, because you should always be friends with the person first, right? But you can have huge romantic intimacy without even having proper friendship intimacy, because a lot of it is more to do with chemical attraction than it is to actually do with stable friendship, so it's, you got lots of different forms of intimacy, lots of different forms of energy and types of attraction that can happen. So it can get a little bit complicated, like a maze sometimes. And obviously when you think about actually how many forms of intimacy there is, there's absolutely stack loads. But if you meet someone and they basically share your passion intimacy, so maybe they love the same type of hobby as you, maybe you're into photography and that other person's into photography, and so you go on day trips together or road trips and you're both photographing things, and you're both so enthusiastic about it, and your energy's bouncing off each other, you're feeling really intimately connected with that person because you both share that hobby. And then maybe that you've got the goal, like in a year's time, to travel to Australia, and you're saving up for that together, so you're feeling closer to the person because you've got a shared goal together that you both want to do. And just imagine the photographs that you could take there, and you just like, whoa. And then just imagine that, for example, that person lived near you physically, and that again is close proximity, and maybe you spend more in-person time with them. So again, you're getting that intimate moments time when you're actually in person, and then you're sharing your secrets together. So they're opening up about their past, which a lot of us don't have great past. And you're opening up about yours. You're sharing this intimate moments. And then if it is a romantic nature, maybe you share a kiss. So you've got the physicality going on as well, and maybe just touching or holding hands, without even any intercourse, all these things when you've got tons and tons of these intimate things going on. This is what makes a relationship more and more intimate, more and more deep, more and more emotional, more and more soulful. A lot of people do have their guard up, though. A lot of people are guarded. And, the people that let it down, they are incredibly courageous, right? I let my, I don't tend to trust people easily, but I don't hold back. I'm very open, right? And then if someone hurts me, I don't think of it as, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I just see it as, well, it's not me who's got the problem. I've been my true authentic self in this life. I don't believe in being anyone you're not. I believe in sharing your life with the world in my position. I believe in helping others. If someone comes along and does bad to me, they've come along and done bad because they're doing bad stuff, right? It's not that I shouldn't have been open and honest. It's the fact that they are not good to me, right? It's not, like some people might be like, oh, you're so open. Should you be that open? And it's like, yes, because I have nothing to hide. The people that have stuff to hide are the ones that have got to watch their back 24/7. I don't have that problem because I'm completely open, honest, and transparent. I don't have any skeletons in the closet like that. Right? Every book I tell some personal stuff about myself, I had to decide as a writer years ago, do I want my personal stuff in writing or do I not? And I decided, well, I can't take it to the grave with me. What the hell's the point in that? I'd rather share it and someone get some benefit from it than keeping all these things to myself all the time that don't benefit anyone, just the grave. And I'm not interested in going to there for a very long time. Liam, that's why I don't relationship. I also have self-esteem issues I'm working on. Yeah, I know, Liam. You couldn't get into a relationship with how you feel about things and your mindset because obviously you don't want it. You're completely closed off to it, and I understand and I respect that. And I'm sorry you've got self-esteem issues. I'm really sorry to hear that because you come across as a really lovely person. So I'm really sorry. But I think a lot of people on this channel actually have self-esteem issues. Me, I am continually working on my self-esteem, on my love for myself. So I got 3 new affirmations, which they're not kind of completely new. They're just ones that I'm using all the time lately. And they are, I love myself, I believe in myself, and I trust myself. So every day now I'm saying these 3 things. I love myself, I trust myself, and I believe in myself. I'm saying them out aloud every day. If I say them to music that makes me feel good, that sticks them in my mind more. So positive affirmations are good, but they tend to stick more in your mind if you associate a happy emotion with that affirmation. So affirmations are something you say in the present tense as though it were true, even if it isn't. So if you're not feeling happy, you need to say, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm really happy. I'm very, very happy right now. I am completely happy. I am so happy. Oh my God, I'm happy. Oh my Lord, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy, So, you need to be doing these type of things. And really, really feeling that emotion as well if you need to. So, if you're lacking self, Liam, I do neither of those 3 things, yeah, but you have to learn to do it. You have to say it as if you mean it. You need to reprogram your mind. So what happens is usually in our childhood, in our past, we have conditioning, programming from a young age, usually between the age of 1 and 7 is when we're most vulnerable as children. It's where we get our programming from. So if we didn't have a very good childhood between the ages of 1 and 7, that will carry on through into adulthood. And it's very difficult to reprogram your mind because you need to go back to the root cause of the problem and basically pull it up and turf it out, right? And you have to do neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, right? So that means you basically have to rewire your brain for positive talk, positive thinking, and rewire your conditioning. You have to get away from that past conditioning. I am still trying to get away from all my past conditioning. It's working because some stuff doesn't affect me anymore like it used to, but I've still got quite a way to go. I think, and you should definitely love yourself, trust yourself, and believe in yourself. The trust and believe in myself is harder because I was programmed, unfortunately, in my past to not trust or believe in myself, which is, it is the way it is. It's not what I wished for myself, but it is what it is, So, but I do love myself since 2012. I didn't used to love myself, but I do because I see the good qualities in me. I see the skills and experience I can help others with. I love me because I love the person I am. I love the fact that I'm open and honest, and if you are hiding the true authentic self, you're not going to love yourself. You need to be prepared to be truly who you're born to be and speak up for yourself, and and be able to take criticism and be able to feel the wrath of people's opinions and just try and ignore it and think, well, that's their problem. It's not my problem what they think of me. If they don't like me, that's their problem. It's not my problem. There's some people that love me and adore me, and there's other people that can't stand me. And that's we're not here to be liked by everyone. We're here to get our own self-esteem in our own right of who we are as a person. And you can't be intimate with other people if you're not expressing who you truly are. If you are intimate, it'll be more like a false intimacy. You won't have the deep soulmate emotional connection because people can't connect with you because you've got these walls and barriers up. They might be able to connect with you on a superficial level, but I know that you probably are the type of person that really does want connection and love and care. But because for some reason in your past, probably you weren't getting that, you've decided to shut it off because it's too painful to even consider and go there at the prospect of it really happening, because if it doesn't happen again, you're just going to be disappointed and completely upset, and it's going to be too much for you to cope with. And so it's better to say no to everything than take any risk because it's not good for your health. I'm guessing that's kind of the position you're in. But I'm working a lot on the trust myself and believe in myself. I've believed in myself since I was 15 years old. Like, I do actually totally believe in myself, as in I know I'm born for a special purpose and I will do that, but because I haven't trusted myself, belief in myself and trust in myself are also separate, but they are tied together in some way as well. So although I 100% believe in myself, as in I believe I'm born for a higher purpose and that I will do that purpose in this life and probably multiple purposes, if I am not trusting myself enough, then obviously there's an element of, can that belief really be 100% if I'm not totally trusting myself? Because in order to put that belief into action, I have to trust myself to do it. So it's one thing to believe in myself 100%, but it's another thing to trust myself to put that belief into action and trust that the universe will make it happen and that I will make it happen and that everything will come good. It's very, very, you have to trust your own judgment and trust your own instincts and trust your own decisions. Like, my instincts are usually always right the majority of the time. But when I go against them and I listen to other people and their negative views and you should be doing this and you should be doing that and you shouldn't be doing the other, it's very, very bad, It's actually more important to listen to your own intuition, listen to your own inner voice, and, to be intimate with yourself, The best intimacy we can have, which I haven't actually said on the rest of this video before, is the intimacy you have with yourself. You have to get intimate with yourself. This means opening up your Pandora's box, the scary stuff that you don't want to deal with, and actually realizing all these demons and these problems and issues that you had and trying to kind of sort them out one by one as much as you possibly can, right? No life is going to be perfect. I don't think anyone can, there's people that say, oh, I'm healed from the past, but I've heard people say that, and I still know they're not fully healed from the past. I don't say that I'm healed from my past, or that I'm ever going to be completely healed from all my past. It would be wonderful if it happened. But I even watch a YouTube channel where a therapist, a former therapist he isn't healed from past childhood trauma, and he is a therapist and knows all the tools and techniques for it. So, you have to just keep working and growing on yourself. Liam, I wouldn't tell you what I truly believe sometimes because I wouldn't want to upset or worry. I wouldn't tell you what I truly believe sometimes because I wouldn't want to upset or worry. Well, it's up to you whether you want to tell me what you truly believe or not, Liam, at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether you mean you would upset or worry me personally because it's something you want to say to me that I might not like, or if it's something about yourself that I might not like, you know? But you shouldn't worry about what other people think and say, you know. It's like, I hate BDSM, for example, but one of my best friends is into some BDSM stuff. I love that friend implicitly as my friend. I don't like BDSM stuff, but they like some stuff that's BDSM. It's like I'm still best friends with them. Do you know what I mean? I can still have my own entire opinion. Absolutely hate BDSM stuff. Think it's abusive in my personal mind. Yeah, I know that they love a specific, at least one major specific element of it, right? And I still love them as my friend because they're my friend at the end of the day. What they do to their body or let people do to their body or they do with people or person is up to them, isn't it, at the end of the day? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't, because I can't change my feeling about them just because they do that, right? Because they're not harming anyone else when they do that, you know? So at the end of the day, it doesn't change my opinion of my feelings for that person, of how much I care and love them as a friend. It doesn't, right? It doesn't, because why should it? You know? Liam, I meant to say you previously. I wouldn't tell you what I truly believe some lies because I wouldn't want to upset or worry. So you meant to say I wouldn't tell you what I truly believe of you because I wouldn't want to upset or worry. What you truly believe about me. Okay. I mean, you've said a lot that I love you, Sandra, you're beautiful on this channel loads. So I don't know, obviously, if you mean that or not now. But it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you know, if you're not being authentic, then I wouldn't know, would I? Or if you're not telling me the whole truth, I wouldn't know. But I don't know if it's appropriate for you to say in chat anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, people's opinions are people's opinions at the end of the day. You know, and I love myself for who I am. So at the end of the day, I mean, if it's not a nice thing to say, you don't need to say it to me. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, why are you saying really nice stuff to me then if you don't mean it? I would be my argument. But as I have no idea what you're even talking about, I think it's better to not even go there. But yeah, so you know, if you want to say stuff in chat, you say stuff in chat. If you don't, you don't. You know. So yeah, and the only thing I would say is it seems kind of weird you're saying you wouldn't want to worry or upset me when you've only ever said nice things to me. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, did you mean all those nice things you said to me or not? Not that it really. I do love you so much, Sandra. I meant to about you. Oh, I don't really understand, but never mind. Anyway, moving on. I don't really understand what you're trying to tell me because I don't work in riddles. People either say what they mean what they say, or don't say it, basically. But yeah, so it's very, very important to be true to who you are and to be honest, because when you're trying to intimately connect with someone, if they can't see the true you and you're not being authentic, then they will feel disconnected from you. They won't feel like they truly know you or your personality or you know, your spirit, your soul. So it's very, very important that, you know, you be true to who you are, you know, and it's very important that you do work on your skills, your personal development skills, your self-love, your self-care, because like I said, the most intimate relationship you can ever have is actually with yourself. So it's very important that anyone works on their self-love, their self-care, their self-trust, their self-belief, their self-worship, if you like, their self soul, you know, being intimate with yourself. You know, obviously some people are physically intimate with themselves in the form of, you know, like masturbation and stuff like that, or stroking themselves or cuddling themselves or kissing themselves. But you can also be very intimate with yourself in terms of your spirituality, in terms of your mindset, in terms of your feelings, in terms of like, you know, like every time I self-date, for example, like if I go to the cinema, usually, obviously I can't do it at the moment because the cinemas aren't open in my city at the moment due to the V situation. And so, you know, when I go to the cinema, I feel really intimate with myself. I feel I reconnect with my soul even more. I feel like I'm dating me. I'm so passionate, enthusiastic about me. And I just feel so on top of the world, you know. Like, and it's important, like when we're locked down or not, you know, socially distancing, not going out much, it's important that we spend time on our own, you know, so that we have quality time still online, because the online world is so important to us at the moment for connection when we can't see a lot of people in person. But it's also important we have time out to be intimate with ourselves, you know, like this could be just moments of quiet with ourselves, moments of reflection for ourselves, moments of creativity with ourselves, moments of expression with ourselves, moments of joy with ourselves, moments of dancing with ourselves, moments of watching our favorite movie to chill out to, moments of laughing with ourselves, moments of just loving ourselves and just saying, you're gorgeous, you know. So these are very, very important, you know. And obviously these type of intimacies have got nothing to do with sex. Obviously, if you masturbate yourself, some people say that's having solo sex, right? But if you think about sexual intercourse as you know, as what some people value as sex, you know, they are as value what some people like sexual intercourse, people think usually call that sex, and they value that in terms of intimacy. If we think of that, there's loads and loads of multiple other ways that you can be intimate without having any sexual intercourse whatsoever, you know, without doing any sexual acts, you know. Liam, I do love you, Sandra. I meant to say is what I think about myself. Oh, right, okay. I wouldn't want to tell you what I truly believe sometimes because I wouldn't want to upset or worry you about yourself. Right, okay. Now I understand you. Well, I could guess from your just what you've written there what you think about yourself. And I hope you're getting some help for that, you know, because I know what that means. You know, I've got my friends have mental health difficulties, so I know exactly what you mean by that. You know, I have to let you know though that whatever goes through your mind and whatever you may think about doing, do not do it, right? You have to understand your own beauty, right? I love you coming in my chat here, right, Liam? I really appreciate you being here. Do you see what I'm saying, right? There's someone that actually cares about you. I haven't even met you. You're a symbol. I don't even know what you look like, but I still value you being here in life, you know? And I really hope that you can work on your self-esteem, and I hope you can start to love yourself. The problem is I think you worry too much about what people think of you. You feel you can't be your true authentic self. You can't like everything that you like and have people think that you're okay as you are. And, you know, people are going to judge, you know, people judge people all the time. You know, some people like judge people in a good way. Some people judge people in a bad way, but we can't live our life for other people, because what happens is when we base our feelings on what other people think of us, we give our a power away to them. So you'll never be truly happy because all your power, your personal power, your emotions belong to someone else. They're never your own. So you have to be centered in yourself and you have to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you have to literally write down on a notepad with a pen. Sorry, my moth's up there. A notepad with a pen. You have to write down what you like about yourself and what you don't like about yourself. I had counseling. I've had lots of counseling in my past. I had counseling years ago. And she said, I want you to write down all your weaknesses and all your strengths. And you have to write at least 10 of each. You have to. You're not allowed not to, right? So this really encourages you to think about your weaknesses and your strengths. It's very important that you do this, Liam. I'd like you to do this. I think it'd be a very good exercise for you to do. And then you have to assess whether those weaknesses that you think are weaknesses, are they really weaknesses? Or are they just what other people's opinions of you are? Are they what other people have been telling you is no good about you, they don't like about you, you need to change? because I found even in my past that some of the things that other people thought was a weakness was actually one of my greatest strengths. So, for example, one of the things that I used to get a lot of not very nice stuff about was the fact I talk a lot, right? Talking is my gift. I have always known that. The people in my life that didn't know that, that's their problem. They probably still think it's not my gift. That's their problem. I'm not here to answer to them. They can do and think what they like. I know talking is my gift to the world, right? If I couldn't talk for long periods of time, I wouldn't be doing this show right now. I wouldn't have people private messaging me, telling me how this show changed their life, how they came out to their family member about being asexual when they've never been able to do that for years. If I didn't have talking as a strength, not a weakness, I wouldn't be where I am today, right? Talking to me is a beautiful form of art. It's something that I cherish and think I have a gift of. I think I should be doing more speaking on stage, actually. That's where I should be. Talking is my gift. Talking is the way I communicate with people. It is one of my greatest gifts. Yet some other people, they don't believe that. They don't see that, right? That's their problem. They can talk till they're blue in the face, but it's not going to change my mind. But when I was doing my weaknesses and my strengths years ago, I was thinking weakness. But hang on a minute. I was consciously thinking, now what actually is my weakness? What are my weaknesses? Because this is what other people have been telling me. Because what a lot of the time we do is our brains are programmed by other people. Other people tell us we're shit, excuse my language. Other people tell us we're rubbish. Other people tell us you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, don't do this, don't do that, don't breathe, basically, you know? And, you know, this might come from parents, siblings, relations, teachers, acquaintances, and you get all these people and they just clutter your brain and they're going, you should be like this, you should be like that, you should be like this, you should be like that, till your head feels like it's going to explode and you can't even be you, right? So when you're looking at your weaknesses and your strengths, you have to just write down all the weaknesses and strengths. But when you come to weaknesses, stop yourself. And I want you to ask yourself every single thing that comes to mind, is that really a weakness? If you were being a best friend to yourself, would you say that was a weakness or strength? So if you were taking yourself out of yourself, if you were being your own coach, if you like, would you tell that person it was a weakness or a strength? Honestly, you have to be blatantly honest, not listen to other people. Honestly, heart to heart with yourself, you need to have these conversations, right? And if anything's a weakness, you have to accept it for what it is right now and work on changing it, right? If you have an anxious personality, you won't be able to change everything at once because it'll be too much for you and overwhelming. You have to work on one thing at a time that you need to change. So, for example, if you don't like your hair color, you can dye your hair color. If you don't like your haircut, you can dye, get a different haircut, right? If you think you're too old looking, you can get like younger clothes, younger hairstyle. You live a younger life, basically, There's lots of things you can do. If it's a sense of like lack of self-esteem, you then have to find books and courses and mentors or psychologists, counselors or whatever to help you grow that self-esteem. But the biggest thing to help you is yourself. You have to work on ways of saying nice, positive things to you because you're going to have to live with yourself 24/7, 365 days a year, and you're going to have a miserable life if you don't start loving yourself. So it's much better to work on loving yourself. Liam, I'm not going to do anything. I love watching you. Oh, bless you. Bless you. Well, do it afterwards you finish watching me. It's very important. Thank you. So, I journaled a long time ago, right? This is like, you need a book like this, like life goals, right? Big vision book, And basically in this, your big vision for the future, you write down what you want in your future, And so, I've got all different stuff like this and that, And these are like the 7 areas of your life that you actually need to be working on, people. If you haven't, health, love, family, friends, mission, finances, hobbies, and spirituality. So yeah, and I can read backwards, it would seem, and upside down. Sorry. I can read backwards. Yeah, I can read backwards. I'm quite clever like that. I can read backwards. So yeah, so you need to be working on this, right? So this is all different areas of your life, but it's very, very important. So years ago, I did weaknesses and strengths, and it really helped, you know. And the things that you've got to, like, if you've got really bad weaknesses, right, things that really hurt you, you've got to work on accepting them as they are now, and then how you're going to change them. You have to ask yourself how. So instead of saying I'm like this, I'm like that, say how can I change it? If you really want to change it, if you don't want to change it, you like the way you are, so you don't need to change for anyone. The only person you should ever change for is yourself, because if you don't, the change won't stick. And then, you know, you'll be frustrated with yourself that you can't trust yourself to follow through on something. You know, but I looked at a lot of things that people were saying are weaknesses, like, I'm a very sensitive person, right? Some people go, oh, you're oversensitive. It's like, I love my sensitivity, makes me very empathetic to people. Yes, that can pose difficulties sometimes, but at the end of the day, it helps me to connect with people. Excuse me. And being sensitive helps me be kind and caring towards people, rather than being narcissistic, for example, right? I would rather be kind and caring to people, right? When you're empathetic, you can be hurt a lot because you feel others' pain a lot. But it makes me a better writer being like that. It makes me better at communicating because I can feel other people's emotions. I can feel my own emotions. I'm in tune with them, right? So all the things that people a lot of the time think are a bad thing about you, you can actually know is a good thing about you, because it's who you truly are. You don't have to answer to anyone or live up to someone else's expectations, right? You just have to be you. And you have to work on the things you can change. You know, the things I need to change at the moment are particularly self-trust the most, you know, which I love you, I believe in you, I trust you are my affirmations, like, and they are working really well. And I trust myself. I trust myself. I trust myself because I have got years of conditioning of not trusting myself, being programmed like that, which is really difficult to undo. But I'm working on it, and I'm determined to build trust with myself more and more. I do trust myself a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's more of in a weaker area than a strength area, right? So I've got to get over from the weak area to the strength area, right? But I feel a lot calmer. I feel a lot less stressed because I'm believing in myself more. I'm trusting myself more. I'm thinking, God, you know, like, I have lived here. I'm so young, as you know, but I've lived here on my own now. This September, next month, in 2020 for 16 years. 16, I know I'm far too young for that, but of my life, I have taken care of myself for 16 years on my own, living here on my own, you know? I mean, I'm sure I can take care of myself, right? Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure I can trust myself if I've been able to take care of myself for 16 years. Do you know what I mean? I love you and I trust you. That's good, Liam. That's good. You need to say that to yourself. Thank you. It's very good. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say that. I love you, I trust you, I believe in you. I love you, I trust you, I believe in you. Like I was having a dance track on, was it yesterday and the day before, and I was going, I love you, I trust you, I believe in you, into the dance track. And so when I think about that dance track, I automatically think, I love you, I trust you, believe in you. So it works better if you say these things in front of the mirror, because when you say them in front of the mirror, they're more powerful. But it's a way of reprogramming your mind. Like, I reprogrammed my mind in 2012 to be happy being single. Prior to 2012, I could not be on my own. I had to be in a relationship. It was a very, very, very bad thing. And I had years of conditioning like that. I mean, my first relationship with a heterosexual was when I was 6 years old. I mean, that is really young. And then I didn't have anything till I was a teenager. And then the relationships just started. Like, I think I was 15. I know from 15 onwards, I was hardly ever single. I just had to be in a relationship. I couldn't live on my own. I couldn't be on my own, right? I'm the opposite of that now. Now I like my space so much that I don't want to live with anyone. I find it very difficult to live with someone. They'd have to live in a separate room or completely separate part of the house, because I just can't be doing with it, you know? Because I do, from a romantic point of view, I like it, but from an actual practical point of view, it's no good. I want to be up to, like, I mean, at the moment, it's nearly 3 a.m. here, and I'm up doing a live stream, you know? If a guy's laid on my bed here, he ain't going to be wanting me to do a live stream, is he? And it's like, I can't be doing with that type of life. I don't want to waste my life in bed when I'm active, you know? I'll go to sleep when I want to, not when I'm dictated to by society, you know? So it's very, very important that we work on the intimacy with ourselves. And part of the intimacy with ourselves is knowing, liking, and trusting ourselves. And getting to know ourselves is the most important foundation of this. You can't love yourself unless you start to know your weaknesses and strengths and really start to understand what your strengths are, you know, and really understand that, are those weaknesses that you think are weak, are they actual weaknesses, or are they just what people have conditioned and told you are? Right? At the end of the day, if we listen to everyone else in the life, we wouldn't have a happy life. And if that's what you're doing right now, you need to stop it. You need to stop giving a toss what people think, right? It might be hard, right? I'm not saying I never care about what people think. If it's someone I don't know, it doesn't really bother me. If it's someone I know, known for a long time, then it does affect me sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you about that. That's something I'm working on. But being an empathetic person, that's kind of difficult. Being a sensitive person, that is kind of difficult. But I managed to overcome that, you know? And I think, you know, one of the things about loving and liking yourself and feeling intimate with yourself is always being true to who you are, regardless of anyone being horrible or nasty to you, regardless of anyone putting you down, regardless of anyone treating you like dirt. You know, obviously you don't want to stand for that. But the best thing is to just walk away or from that person, get them out of your life as much as possible, minimize contact with that person. Go and be on your own. Spend some time with people who do actually like you for who you are. You know, it's good that you spend time on this channel, Liam, because I really appreciate you being here, obviously. You know, and it's good, I think, for you, you know, but you must learn to love yourself as well. It's really important. So when this video stops, I want you to literally go and write down the 10 things that you know, your 10 weaknesses and your 10 strengths, and actually look at the weaknesses, right? But if some of them are weaknesses, like, you know, I know some of my weaknesses are, I mean, I've worked on my weaknesses a lot, but, you know, one is that I still do get affected sometimes by what some people think, you know, but I have to try and get over that, or I have to try and find ways of managing it even better, you know. And like I said, trust myself, you know, is I need to do that more and more, you know, and the more I practice it, the more I'll become it. Because when you've got bad conditioning, bad programming, you need to reprogram your mind. It takes a long, long time. So you've got to literally get rid of all that rubbish that's happened over the years and literally put some new thoughts into your mind that you start to believe. But you know, people don't believe these things straight away. You have to program. Like when I was trying to get my mind to think happy being single, I literally had to go and look in the mirror and say, I'm happy being single. I'm happy being single. I'm happy being single. Even though I didn't feel like it at the time, I had to do that consistently because there was an NLP practitioner at a coaching academy course. So I have actually done a weekend coaching academy course. That's with the Coaching Academy in the UK, a life coaching course the weekend. I got a certificate for attending that weekend. And I saw this guy called Andrew Jenkins, and he was amazing. He was an NLP practitioner, and it did actually work. The one technique that he showed me, which was talking in the mirror and repeating over yourself what you want your ideal mindset to be, and it was like, I'm happy being single, I love being single, I'm happy being single, I'm happy being single. And I just had to keep doing this and put affirmations all the time. And it does take at least a month onwards. Like sometimes it can take 6 months or more to even get this stuff in your mind, you know, because, and then you have to top up sometimes you'll lapse back, you know, you have to keep topped up. It's like because I had depression years ago, I have to top up on happiness. Right? People are like, oh, you've overcome depression, that's fine. But people don't realize you'll go back into a depression if you don't keep topped up on happiness. I'm constantly topping up my happiness, topping up my positivity, topping up my positive energy, topping myself up with good stuff. You have to put the good stuff back in, you know, because life is going to come your way and throw rubbish at your way. You need to be able to counteract that, you know. It's like having a tennis racket. You know, the balls are coming, the balls of negativity are coming. You either dodge out the way or you whack them back, you know, like, have your negativity back. I don't want it. You know what I mean? Go away, you know? And so you've really got to work on yourself. Like, you should be constantly working on yourself in a good way, not to the point it exhausts you, because working on yourself can be a bit exhausting. So remember to take breaks and just completely zone out of yourself, right? But you have to know that you're a lovely person, Liam, you know? And I don't know what's gone on in your life, but obviously something's gone on in your life where people have been saying negative stuff to you and you believe them, right? Just because they say negative stuff to you doesn't mean to say you should believe it, right? You have your own mind, right? You're a nice person, right? So don't listen to all that rubbish. Don't listen to all that rubbish, because this rubbish is coming from very insecure, jealous people a lot of the time, that are so busy not living their own life or enjoying their own life that they're pushing their negativity onto you. And some of them have just got problems. Some of them have got narcissistic problems. Some of them are bullies, you know, and you've just got to leave them be and get back to being emotionally, intimately connected with yourself and start loving yourself and growing your self-worth, you know. Think about all the good things that you can do. I mean, you're obviously clearly good at messaging. You know, you're clearly good at supporting people on their channel and stuff. You're very supportive. You give love out to me all the time. So you're a very loving, supportive person, you know. So that's 2 traits I found out about you straight away. You know, very loving, supportive person. You know, you're very friendly. You're very outgoing in messages. You know, and you're very kind, you know. So I think there's a lot of good stuff about you, Liam, you know. And if anyone else is watching this right now, you know, pay attention to you and become intimately interested in yourself. Start to explore yourself. Start to find out things about yourself. Yes, it might be a bit difficult. Yes, you might start crying and doing stuff like that, but it's okay to cry, you know. Lewis, hope one day you could meet in person. Meet in person, do you mean as in meet over here in person with me, or do you mean Liam meet me, or do you mean you meet me? I'm in the UK, so obviously if people are coming over to the UK and they video chat with me first. Liam, I struggle with major depression. That's where the negative thoughts come from. I gathered that, Liam. Do you have anxiety as well, or just depression? Because I used to have both. I've still got some anxiety, but not depression. Have you got my fibro book? Have you bought my fibro book? You should buy my fibro book. It shows you how to, even if you haven't got fibromyalgia, literally, it's a personal professional development book disguised as a fibromyalgia book. And it literally shows you how to rid. Oh, you've got both my books. Oh, no, you've got both depression and anxiety. Sorry. I was going to say you should get my fibro book. It will tell you how to get rid of pain in 25 aspects of your life. Which part of the UK do I live in, Lewis? I live in Devon. In Exeter in Devon, actually. So yeah, so depression and anxiety usually go together a lot, but you seriously should get my fibro book and read how to get rid of all this pain, because a lot of the pain comes from negativity and it actually tells you how to overcome depression in that book and reduce anxiety, because I stopped being depressed in 2012 after having depression throughout my childhood and adulthood. So yeah, you should definitely read my fibro book. It'll be helpful for you. It's an autobiographical self-account, you know. You should get it in the link in the description and see what you think. It will change. It will open your eyes to things, you know. I've had people buy that book and they haven't even got fibro, because it literally shows you how to literally decrease your pain, which is because pain a lot of the time. For example, with fibromyalgia, a lot of the pain comes from negativity. So with fibromyalgia, you get pain in your body because you're putting negative stuff into your mind, into your ears, into your lips. So you need to get rid of all the toxic stuff as much as possible in your life so that you can be happy and not depressed. And it takes some doing, you know, like you shouldn't be watching the news, for example. You shouldn't be watching the news because it's got death, murder, rape, you know, in it. You should just stop watching the news. You should just stop watching the TV. You should only be watching stuff like comedy, stuff that makes you laugh, stuff that makes you love your life. You shouldn't be watching any negative stuff. You have to cut as much negative stuff out of your life as possible. Soap operas, they are designed to hook you emotionally and give you emotional highs and lows. I used to be nearly a soap addict years ago. They're no good. You have to force yourself to stop watching this stuff, and start listening to positive stuff, positive affirmations, positive YouTube meditations. You can go and look at loads of positive affirmation videos on YouTube. You need to start listening to positive affirmations, people speaking positively. Get yourself some positive quotes and put them all around your home. Start talking positively to yourself, because the only way you can truly counteract negativity is by doing the opposite, positivity, which is hard to do if you're depressed. But the only way you get out of depression is by actually forcing yourself to do other stuff, like make yourself positive and go and help other people as well. A lot of people get depressed because they think their life has no purpose. So you need to find purpose. And so therefore you need to make your life purpose finding your life purpose if you haven't found it already. Right? So I was quite lost until I found my life purpose of writing. In 2009, actually, I discovered that, I was very lost. I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't think my life was worth anything. I thought I was useless. I didn't think I had any skills or thing to offer the world. I used to think negative stuff. Usually sad songs help me massively during depression. Well, sad songs are probably not helping. How do sad songs help you in depression? Because you understand the words and relate to it. But does it help you feel better? Does it help you feel happier? I'm guessing it doesn't, because you're listening to it when you're depressed. And I'm guessing it helps you because you can relate to it. But this is where people go wrong a lot of the time. Like, people will join groups of other depressed people. The worst thing you can do is hang around with people who are depressed all the time if you're depressed, because that makes you more depressed. You need to actually go and be around people who are positive, upbeat, energetic, uplifting, to get all that into your life. Because depressed people just make each other depressed. Like, I had someone who came into my life, right, and my anxiety decreased enormously, right? And I had someone come into my life who had depression, anxiety, but their anxiety was so bad they used to have panic attacks regularly. And whilst I cared and I understood them, they made me anxious again, really badly, to the point where I was getting panicky. And it's like, but I haven't felt this way for years. Why am I having panic attacks, basically? Because this other person was having them and I was talking to them loads. And so I was feeding my mind with their worries and their problems and their issues all the time, which in turn made me have them. It's like liquid. When you spill it, it goes out into where you spilt it. So if you are only around people of your own kind, other depressed people, it'll make you more depressed. It numbs you. But that's not solving the root of the problem, is it? That's just numbing you, like you say. It's not actually solving the problem. You need to solve the problem, which is the fact that you have low self-esteem, low self-worth, and depressive thoughts. You need to change that to better your life for your own self, because it's not dragging out the roots of why you're depressed. It's not getting to the root of the matter, which is probably people who have been nasty, abusive, or horrible to you in your life and put you down and made you feel like you're not worth things. I understand that. I relate to that, and I'm sorry that you have to go through what you have to go through. I went through depression for years. I will never go back there again. Even if I feel myself even remotely going back into that, my mind sometimes has a few negative thoughts. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was explaining, who does suffer depression as well, and I was explaining that I sometimes still have negative thoughts. They pop into my head, not recently, but they have done over like this year and last year, I think it was. And these are my past me. So when you are reprogramming your mind, if you haven't fully reprogrammed every bit of it, you still have the past version of you coming back. And also, if you haven't continued training your brain, retraining your brain and keeping it maintained stage, your old person comes back. because you can change yourself. You can change yourself into a different version of you. You have the power within you to do that, right? And the only person that can make you happy is yourself. You can't get happy by other people. You can't get happy. Even psychiatrists, counselors, therapists, they can help deal with your problem, but you have to make yourself happy. You have to choose to be happy. Liam, it's a start, and usually I get out of depression, of course, medication. I never took medication for depression, but I know the majority of people do. I know my friends who do have depression take medication, but they're actually a lot better than they used to be in terms of they don't get as depressed usually. But obviously this time at the moment is very difficult for a lot of people, you know. A lot of people in the world, because of the, you know, social isolation, a lot of people are feeling more depressed. So the people that suffer depression, usually that may be uplifted or more optimistic, sometimes they are struggling more, you know. And I understand that it's difficult times, it's very strange times. I tend to focus more on my own life. We have to learn that we cannot change our outer world. We cannot change what's happening in the world out there. We only can change our inner world. So we can only change ourselves and the way we react to things, you know. So I basically stay in my own little world environment here a lot of the time. Like I said, I don't watch the news anyway. I purposely make it my mission not to watch the news, because that's only going to wreck your mind. Absolutely wreck your mind, because it subconsciously gets into your brain. Negative stuff subconsciously gets into the brain. So it doesn't matter, you know, what you do. It's the brain that you need to solve the problem. And you need to choose to be happy in spite of, you know. It's not always easy, but you have to choose to be happy. Just choose. I'm going to be happy now. I don't need anyone to make me happy. I'm just going to decide to be happy. And the way I be happy is dancing around my room, for example. You know, not particularly yesterday, but the rest, like last 2 or 3 days before that, I've been like having a party, laser lights, like listening to music, dancing around my room for about an hour at a time. And that's really, really helped boost my morale and boost my oxytocin, you know, boost good chemicals to make me feel better, you know. And I try and protect myself a lot. I try and protect myself from negativity. I try and cut out the news, anything that I think is negative. You know, I try to cut out that as much as possible, because I don't need that in my life, you know. They can go and be negative elsewhere. I'm not interested, you know. I'm just interested in positivity, love, light, happiness. And I learned in my life to just be happy, to just stop being depressed. Because with my fibromyalgia book, if you do read it, you'll discover that's what saved me. It took me 6 months to come to terms with the fact I have fibromyalgia, disability for life. And then I snapped out of depression. I decided I would never talk to myself negatively like I did before. I would stop talking to myself negatively. I would stop saying negative stuff to myself. I would stop doing that, because I realized that if I didn't, I would end up on crutches or in a wheelchair like many other people with fibromyalgia. And that was a threat to my freedom that I wouldn't allow to happen. And to this day, I will not allow that to happen, right? Because a lot of fibromyalgia pain is emotional, that manifests itself in your body as physical pain. The more emotional pain you have, the more people you have being negative, the more negativity you have around you, the more things like that happen. It causes pain in the body really badly. So I have to, a lot of the time, focus on positivity as much as possible, because, you know, I would end up in crutches or in a wheelchair like other people, because my body would be completely representing what goes in my mind. And I would end up like that. And that is something I will never do. I love clubbing. I love living life to the max. I love living like a teenager. And that's what happened in 2012 as well. 2012, I went to my first personal and professional development seminar the same year as I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And when I had fibromyalgia, I stopped talking negatively to myself as much as possible, obviously, consciously. But I still didn't love myself at that point. I got a glimpse of, you know, I kind of got a glimpse of like positivity with the way I was being, but I didn't love myself back then. I still didn't see the value in me. And then when I went to this personal and professional development seminar, that completely changed my life. I saw a guy called Tony Robbins, who's one of the world's leading coaches, and in that seminar, he said about music and movement changes your mood, and it does. So if you're in a state of depression, your shoulders are usually hung over like this, your head's usually down, your body is not good. So you need to like pull your shoulders back, head up high, you need to move your posture, you need to start jumping up and down to positive music, energetic music, bubbly music. You need to start moving your arms around, whatever, clapping, yeah, and like all this, woo, woo, woo. I just what was it, back in June, I attended another an online event with him, and it was amazing. So he's always going, yeah, come on, woo, woo, woo. Because when you do stuff like this, it automatically alters your state, because you can't be in a really bad state if you're going around like giving yourself loads of energy and jumping up and down and stuff. I'm not obviously jumping up and down fully at the moment, but like if you're clapping and you're making yourself happy and going woo, 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 and you're just keeping going and you're just keeping the energy alive and you're just like dancing around, it makes you really happy, because it gets you out of that mood. You have to change your state. It's called a pattern interrupt. You have to interrupt your pattern of depression. You have to stop it and do something different. So whenever you're feeling down, you have to go and do something different. Force yourself to go and do something different, whatever that is. It's very, very important. But the root cause of the problem is, like you say, you're working on your self-esteem. I'm really glad to hear that. And we have to choose to be happy. One of the biggest mistakes I thought, well, I didn't understand while I was a kid, is we don't automatically be happy. Like, I thought, I'm not happy, what's wrong with me? Because loads of people are happy, but I'm not. Like, what is wrong with me? And I always blame myself, but I didn't realize we have to choose to be happy. We just have to choose to be happy, because you could have one situation that two different people could see is a really bad thing. Like, for example, I had someone who I considered a friend who used to be subscribed to his channel, and I thought they were a friend. I've known them online for a number of years. I thought they really cared. I thought they were being genuine and honest about supporting me, like last year and other ways. And, and that was like, I felt betrayed by that person and hurt in some ways. But I also thought, you know what? They've got their own problems and they just can't see their own problems. I'm very self-aware. And, I don't pretend that everything in my past is healed like some people do. And I thought, this is not the person I knew them to be, and whatever's happened in their life, I wish them to get some help for it and hope that they get better from it, and I just leave them on their way, and there's no point in carrying on with that person. You've just got to make yourself happy. You've got to love yourself for who you are, and that's a good thing. You've got to love yourself for who you are, with all your good points and your bad points. You still have to love yourself for who you are, with all your weaknesses and strengths, whatever they are. You still have to love yourself for who you are, because what's the alternative? The alternative is misery. The alternative is dysfunction. The alternative is just surviving in life. You need to be thriving and flourishing, and you need to start living the life that you want to live. So when I went to this business seminar, Tony Robbins got us to jump up and down to music. We had to go around hugging strangers, which was very freaky for me, because I didn't used to like any form of intimacy with anyone like that. I didn't like hugging strangers. I only used to hug my parents hello and goodbye, and my boyfriend. That was it. And they were not even hello. It's just goodbye. So I didn't even do that. And he made us like, I'll go and hug people. And I remember hugging this guy, and he wasn't very good looking, and he was really big in body mass, and his hair was like balding on top with just a piece over here, and it was fly away, and he wasn't very good looking. I just remember hugging him and thinking, if I can hug this guy, I can hug anyone. At that point, I still wasn't comfortable about hugging people, but it got me on the road to that. And what I realized in that seminar was that I like living like a teenager, and that I was absolutely sick of living other people's lives, because I was living how society dictated me I should live. I was living my birth certificate age life that everyone expects me to live, and that I wasn't living my true self. I remembered who I really was, which that is a young teenager type of person with a very wonderful young soul and completely young mindset, and very experienced in life, but still very young at the same time, on purpose. Like people people say some horrible stuff sometimes. They're like, oh, you're not mature, because when I say I like to live like a teenager and got a 21st mindset, they automatically judge me on the fact that I'm not mature. But just because I live like a teenager, have a 21st mindset, doesn't mean to say I haven't got a wealth of knowledge and experience that would be seen as mature in terms of experience and knowledge. Not, age has got absolutely nothing to do with that. And so that's their judgment, that's their bad. It's not my problem. It's them being, not understanding me. I know who I am. I know I love living like a teenager. I know I love having a young life. And when I started to live the teenager lifestyle, that's when I started to be happy. When I started to let go of all the reins that enslaved me for years, when I started to think, music, movement, I'll live my life the way I love it. And that's what I do nowadays. Do some people like it? Nope. But they can lump it. I don't care, because I'm happy. There's thousands of people now around the world that are miserable because of what's going on. Whereas I am enjoying my teenager lifestyle still, in spite of it. I'm partying, and I'm jumping up and down, and I'm having fun, and I'm just enjoying my life because I'm self-contained unit. I can look after myself, and I can enjoy my own company, and I can enjoy my own life, But if I was living the life that they want me to live, this actual age type of life, that was a life I hated. I was miserable living that life. Miserable living the society expectational life. It's absolute rubbish, and the people that are criticizing most are the ones that are usually jealous, because they can even be authentic like that. They couldn't live like I live, because they're like, oh, but what will people think? Oh, they can't think that. It's like, I don't care what people think. So what? If you want an actual age and you think that's a way that's going to be a healthy lifestyle for you, it's actually not, right? People try all the time to be younger than they are, with like Botox and plastic surgery and God knows what else, dyeing their hair and all sort of stuff. I don't dye my hair. People are like, oh, is that your real hair? It's like, yes, I've never dyed my hair in my life. This is my real hair, people, my real hair, and people are like, oh, but you're doing this, that, and the other. It's like, oh, I really don't care, A lot of the time it's because they see me as young, and they do actually see me as young, but they're like, they can't deal with that. So they'll be like, oh, well, she's not mature, ha ha ha, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, if you want to live your adult life that's clearly making you so happy that you've got to actually make fun of someone else, how they live their life, then clearly you're not really living a happy life, are you? You're more like living a jealous life. So let them get on with it, if that's the way they want to be. Like, I love myself and I love the life. Liam, I love your outlook on life. You're a teen at heart. Yeah, I'm a teen in my mind, my soul and my heart, actually. Like, it's just because I have a lot of experience. Like, when I was older in birth certificate, when I was younger in birth certificate age, I was very, very, very old for my age. I was very like an old woman for my age. Now I'm old in birth certificate age, I'm not younger, but I do it on purpose. It's not just young at heart. I'm young in my mind. I'm young in my lifestyle. Like, I met a guy on ASAP who is a little romantically interested in me, right? And he's a nice person to talk to, actually. He's very witty, and he's 25 years old, right? But we are having a discussion today about music. And the music he likes is that of a 40-year-old, right? So he is like older than me, right? Even though, because I'm 21 in my mindset, I'm even like a teenager in my lifestyle. I'm purposely 21 all the time. Like, I've reprogrammed my mind to think I'm 21. So sometimes it's very difficult for me to remember my own birth certificate age, because it's like not who I am, and people don't understand that it's not just young at heart. It's young in my mind. It's young in my lifestyle. It's young in my energy. It's young in my vibrancy, my youngness. Like, when I speak to the 25-year-old, clearly he's a lot older than me, even though he's not in birth certificate age. And I usually attract the old souls. I usually attract guys that are older. They like older music. They like older interests, older hobbies, older passions. And I'm there wanting to go out and party, clubbing, and they're wanting to settle down. It's like the guy who's 25, it's really good because he's living his dream, as in his dream job. But it's like he doesn't go out clubbing. He's more of a pub and bar person. Well, to me, That's what an older person would usually be interested in. I have older friends. Like, I have my best female friend. She's 51, which is a lot older than what I am in birth certificate age. Yeah. So, but and she has some friends in their 40s as well, right? But it's just like they are into karaoke and bar, like going to pubs and stuff. I go to pubs for food and that, but for entertainment, I want to be clubbing. I want to listen to techno music. I want to listen to reggaeton music. I want to listen to dance tracks. I want to jump up and down. I want to be there till 2 a.m. when a club shuts, This is not how most young guys, even that I come across, live their life. They'd rather be at home, putting their feet up, watching Netflix, and not doing this stuff, right? So I'm completely young, I'm like a teenager in this way, because it's what makes me happy. It's true to who I am. I obviously was the old version of me years ago because I needed to be in that time, and it's kind of like I've gone backwards and I've aged younger. It's really, really good. I love it. Most of the music I listen to is 60s, 70s, before I was born. Exactly, Liam. See what I mean? See what I mean? I'm glad you proved my point. Exactly. Nearly all the guys I come across are into older music. The ones I talk to on ASAP, they're all into older music. I'm talking to 3 guys on there. They're all really nice guys, but they're all into older stuff than me. You know what I mean? So it's really funny. It's like, no, I want to listen to techno. It's like really, really funny. But it's very difficult to find the right person, because if there's, like I said, if there's a guy who likes older women, he expects an older woman to behave like an older woman. And to even like doing housework, it's like, really? Seriously? I'm a teenager. Does a teenager do housework? Does a teenager want to cook? No. They usually have their parents to do it. Well, I don't have my parents to do it. I have to do it myself. But, I didn't spend time in the kitchen. I'm not even interested in that. I try to just get the food, get it in the oven, get out there and do my washing up every few days. I don't even do it every day, And it's like, I'd rather be vlogging. I'd rather be blogging. I'd rather be doing a website design. I'd rather be doing anything. That's like a teenager would, like a young teen would do. Or early, like late teen, early 20s, they're not, but they'd rather be out partying, or they'd rather be out doing some hobby or interest than in their kitchen. The kitchen ain't their thing, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like, that's my lifestyle, I've got a very young lifestyle, and I don't know many people that are up till, it's already like 3:30 in the morning here, 1 minute to go, and I don't know many people, apart from my best friend Sam, that's up till this hour and that's like awake like this and nattering, you know what I mean? Early hours of the morning, and it's like enjoying it because it's like who I am. Most guys in their 20s actually do not do that. Like, I'm more younger than them, the ones that I come across anyway. It's quite funny. But I know guys in their 20s that do that, but late teens, early 20s, but they're not usually ones I talk to. And so most of the time I attract the older souls, which is really funny. It's usually like they are the older ones and I am the younger one. But like, we have to know ourselves intimately in order to love ourselves, in order to like ourselves, and we have to get really real on who we are. We have to be true to who we are. Now, I love my lifestyle. I absolutely love living like a teenager, thinking like a 21-year-old. And I love writing and doing this channel. And I just love my life, And all that's been made possible by myself, by me going out there, discovering what skills, talents, and knowledge and I do have to share with the world, and actually being brave enough to share it and being authentic on here. It does take a lot of guts to be your true, authentic self in life, and especially all over social media. I have some people saying, "Oh, should you really be sharing all of that about yourself?" It's like, yes, I should be sharing all this about myself because it's my truth and it'll help someone. And if I don't have anything to hide, someone can't come around the corner and go, I know something about you that you don't want the world to know, and try and blackmail me with it. It's like, no, you can't pin nothing on me because I'm completely open and honest about anything and everything. Whatever you say won't affect me because I just am who I am. They can't touch me. It's only when people are secretive, not being their authentic self, lying to who they really are, that's when the pain starts hurting them. And when they build relationships that aren't true, they're fake because they are being faked themselves, unfortunately. So we have to always start from within ourselves. We have to build the intimacy with ourselves. We have to start to spend time with ourselves and reflect, like, What am I feeling right now? What am I thinking right now? And how can I change this? Very important to ask, how can I change this? How can I make myself feel positive? How can I make myself feel happy? Because you have to make yourself. No one's going to do it for you. And I didn't realize this. I thought that everyone grew up and they were meant to be happy. And if they weren't happy, then there's something seriously wrong with me because I wasn't happy. And I was just waiting for this, like waiting for someone to come into my life to make me happy. I didn't realize it all started with me and it all came from me. And only I can make myself happy. I didn't realize that. I was always relying on someone else because I thought that's how the world worked. I wasn't told otherwise. And I wasn't told that life should be a struggle. So therefore, when I struggled, I thought, this is really weird. I'm not normal. I shouldn't be here in life because I'm struggling right now. And there's something obviously wrong with me. It's wrong. But there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Life is not meant to go smooth sailing. Life is meant to go up and down like a roller coaster, like black and white, light and dark. It's supposed to go up and down. So you have to get used to riding the waves, going up and down, but you have to do it in a way that you bring your own joy and happiness. And that you have to trust that everything happens for a reason, good or bad. So when you stop trying to control your life through other people and you gain greater control through the clarity of knowing and understanding yourself and what you really want and living into that person, the more you will get your own happiness, because happiness always comes from within. So we have to dive deep into ourselves, ask what makes us happy and how we are going to bring that happiness on a daily basis. So it's good if you can create a happy list of 10 things that make you happy, whatever it is, and that you can do those things over and over again every single day to make you happy, because medication doesn't solve the problem. I know it helps some people. My friends are on medication. You know, my friends feel they need the medication, so obviously then they do. You know, so if you're on medication, it helps, but it doesn't actually stop you being depressed. Have you noticed that? Depression medication does not stop you being depressed. Doesn't. The people I know that are on medication for depression, it doesn't stop them being depressed. So I then think, why are they taking it? But, you know, if you want to take it, you feel comfortable taking it, I understand. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. And some people feel better that they're on the medication than off it, you know? But it isn't actually solving the root cause of the problem. It's not actually making you happy. Only you can make yourself happy. You have to choose to be happy. Like, I choose to be happy now. Despite the situation in the world, they can be utter chaos. Doesn't matter, because I am centered and focused here. I am happy in this moment. Oh, God, I am so happy to be alive. I mean, honestly, if we're still here watching this video and talking now, we are damn well lucky to be alive. We are one of the few chosen ones that are still left in this world, you know? It's incredible. We have been given the gift of life to continue with it. And we should be cherishing every moment, because a lot of people haven't got this. And this is a golden opportunity to turn our life around, to reflect on ourselves. This is a golden opportunity to sit down and actually spend time with ourselves, however painful it may be, and say, well, you know, what do I really want to do with my life? What's my goals, ambitions, and dreams? What do I want to do with my relationships, with my family life, with myself? What am I going to do? And write these things down. We need to be working on ourselves and growing and developing ourselves and choose to be happy and find things that make us happy and do them over and over and over again. It's like a muscle, you know. In order to stop me from getting back into a depression, I have to exercise my happy muscles all the time. Right? And it doesn't mean to say I don't get negative thoughts. It doesn't mean to say I don't get some negative feelings, but it means I don't sink back into the dark, deep hole forever that I feel I can't get out of. It means they are temporary, fleeting thoughts, maybe for a day or maybe for a time. And I have to tell myself, that's the old you, Sandra. This is not the new you. That's the old you. That's the old you. It's your old patterns, your old habits and beliefs, because that's what happens with depression. It's a habit, it's a pattern, and it gets comfortable. And that's what people don't talk about. Depression is a comfortable feeling. It's not a nice feeling, but it's comfortable in the sense that you get used to it. And you wouldn't be used to not being in there, so you kind of grab onto it like a safety blanket. Because if you're not depressed anymore and you've been depressed for years, what's your life going to be like? You're used to being depressed. And so if you stop being depressed, it might panic you because it's not your normal. So you have to consciously decide that you're going to do whatever it takes to not be depressed because you want to change your life. But the only time that will actually happen is when the pain of being in your current situation is more than what it takes to have the courage to leave your situation. So when the pain of being depressed is too much, that you have to be happy with when you'll be happy. So thanks for the thumbs up. So it wasn't until I had fibromyalgia that I was diagnosed with the disability for life that I finally snapped and realised not to be depressed, not to talk negatively to myself anymore. That's what saved my life. My fibromyalgia disability literally saved my life. I truly believe that. If I had not got fibromyalgia, I would still be in a depressed state by now. Because that's a big event in my life that took me to shake the pain out of me, to shake myself into, what the hell do you think you're doing, Sandra? You're just being negative and you're just making yourself depressed. And if you carry on doing that, you will be on crutches or in a wheelchair. I am telling you that now. And I don't want to be the one to see you in that state, because I cannot stand not being able to move around, go places I want to go, do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and being confined into a wheelchair or on crutches for the rest of my life and live like an old woman. I do not want that for myself. So that was the turning point. But for most people, they don't get a wake-up call like that. So they just carry on being depressed because there's nothing, the pain gets comfortable. It's horrible to say that, but it's the truth. The pain gets comfortable. You're used to being depressed, so you don't know any other life without it. Do you know what I mean? Similarly with anxiety too. It's a bad habit and bad behavior. That's what it is, a habit and behavior. And you're repetitively doing it, so you're maintaining and sustaining it. The only way you can do that is by doing the opposite. The making yourself feel positive, happy, positive self-talk. So you have to reprogram all that negativity into positivity, and you have to start getting comfortable with being positive and happy. Something that you've never usually allowed yourself to be, because you haven't thought you're worth it. So only when you think you're worth it and your life is worth it will you change. But you have to know your life is worth it. I mean, you're on planet Earth right now, still alive. I mean, my God, if God wanted you not here, he would have made you not here. He wants you to be alive, right? So you need to understand that. He wants you to be alive. I want you to be alive, right? You're on this earth for a reason. And the people that struggle in life are the ones that make changes in other people's lives. Most people that I know that are entrepreneurs, they've gone through bad childhoods. They've gone through a lot of abuse in their life. And they use it to get themselves stronger so that they're able to help other people in their future life without even knowing it. Right? You know, like if I hadn't had all the rubbish happen to me years ago, I wouldn't be able to help people now. I realise that now. I realise I had to go through all that stuff in order to be the person I am now. That's how I've been able to let a lot of the past go, because I realised it was there for a reason, even though I didn't see the reason at the time. It's very horrible, painful. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But, you know, it was what it was. It's what it is. And all that's led up to where I am now in my life, to help others. So that's why I had to go through that rubbish, you know. But we have to choose to be happy. We have to know and understand and honour the struggles of life. Know that things aren't going to run smoothly, that we can't control other people and their actions and their thoughts and feelings. We can only control ourselves, our own emotions, thoughts and feelings, and we can only bring our own happiness and joy to life and follow our own path, but by connecting intimately with our own sense of self-esteem, sense of self-worth, sense of self-purpose, sense of just being with yourself, getting to know yourself. People think they know themselves, but they don't. They know themselves unconsciously, not consciously. I know myself consciously. I'm very aware of what I'm like. You know, I have some negative thoughts sometimes. I have some thoughts that aren't good. I'm like, Sandra, that's not good. And I'm like, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. It's a fleeting moment. Your brain's designed to protect you. It's designed to keep you safe. So it's going to say some negative stuff to you because it's panic mode, it's worrying, it's frightened. Stems back from caveman era, you know, but you have to let yourself go and trust yourself enough that you are fully capable of living a happy life, that you can do that for yourself, and that you can learn and grow and develop yourself into being a happy version of you. But you have to be willing to let go of depression, who's been your friend for a very long time. My depression was my friend for years. I was very lonely. I was very lost. Depression was like a friend to me. It's like having another being with me. You know? And people don't talk about depression like this. You won't hear usually anyone speak like this about depression because people aren't consciously aware of this. They're not consciously aware that they've befriended their own depression like another human being that's with them all the time, like a friend to them. But I know this because that's what it was like for me. But I didn't admit that at the time. I didn't even think that at the time. It's only in recent years that I've grown to know that. I've grown to understand that, you know? And so it isn't always easy. It isn't going to be easy, but I do encourage you to love yourself and to realize that you have to make yourself happy. Doesn't matter who you see, what you do, you have to make yourself happy. You have to choose to be happy. And if you don't know how to do that, you have to find ways of doing that. You know, if talking therapies help, please get some talking therapies. You have to work on happiness. People do not work on their happiness. A lot of the time, the number one killer is unhappiness. People die because they're not happy. People can have millions of pounds and they're still not happy because they haven't brought the joy to themselves. They haven't brought the happiness in their heart. They might have loads of money, but they're miserable inside. I don't have shed loads of money, but I can tell you right now, I am blimmin' happy inside. I am so happy. I am beaming. I am so happy to be here in life. I'm so happy to be here in this moment with you. I'm so happy to be living the life of my asexual dreams right now. You know, in spite of. And that's what it takes. Great courage and great strength in this life to live in spite of your current circumstances or your current thoughts and feelings. To be brave enough to live in spite of them. So we need to live in spite of the current situation in the world. And we need to be happy within who we are. By loving ourselves, by growing and being at one with ourselves and really caring and loving ourselves. It's very, very important. So out of all the intimacy I've talked to you about tonight, including more at the beginning of this video, the most precious intimacy you have, the most one that you should focus on more than anything in the world is your intimacy with yourself. Because only when you focused on that and grown to love yourself and be comfortable with who you are, can you actually give love to other people and be more expressionate and intimate with others than ever before. Because once you stop hiding from yourself and start owning yourself and being in control of yourself and your actions and your life, then everything else will just fall by the wayside that doesn't matter. And you'll get to the heart of the people that do matter. You know, it's really important. Really important. I hope I've helped you on this video. Please make intimacy with yourself the absolute first and foremost priority. It's very, very important that you get to know yourself inside out and backwards. I always found out in my life, it's better to make change happen for you than happen to you. So rather than someone, because I hated change, I didn't want change, so I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't change myself, wouldn't change my life, wouldn't do anything. And, you know, slowly but surely, things used to happen in my life, things I didn't like. And so because it was things I didn't like, I just felt bad all the time. I felt more depressed. But when you begin to change your life for yourself and realize that you can control your life and take control and ownership and responsibility for your life instead of putting it on other people, then the power is all yours. The power is all yours. And so you don't give your power away to other people and be powerless, because we can't control it. We can't control what the politicians do. We can't control what presidents do. We can't control what people are doing to each other in different countries. We can only control ourselves. So the more we control ourselves and make things happen for us more than to us, the better our life is. So I'm constantly trying to develop and improve myself and change myself on purpose, because I used to be afraid of change, but by making change happen all the time, I get used to it. I get used to change happening. Then when something unexpected happens in my life, I might not like it, but I can deal with it because I'm used to changing my life. And most of the time when I change my life myself, there's less unwanted change and more change that I want. So it's better for me, you know? Anyway, it's been over 2 hours that I've been live streaming now. I hope you found this helpful and insightful in any way. Thank you for the thumbs up. If anyone else wants to give another thumbs up, that would be amazing if you haven't already done so. And Liam, I hope you love yourself, because you are damn well worth it. Work on your self-love, work on your self-esteem, and please work on your own happiness, making you happy, positive stuff. Work on your weaknesses and your strengths. Work on you. Get to know yourself intimately. Love yourself. Rip away the walls and the barriers and start to get intimate in the cell of life with yourself. Best advice I can give you. Anyway, I'm going to say good night to everyone who's been in chat tonight. Love your name, Destiny. Very, very lovely. Good night, Liam. Night, Megan. Thanks for being here. Night, Lewis. And night, Danny. I think I've said good night to everyone. Anyway, I wish you lots of love. Thank you, Lewis and Liam, who's been here till the end, basically. I love you lots. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit the great big subscribe button and hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now and post a new video. I love you lots. Embrace your quirky and each other, and I'll see you on the next live stream or video. If you've got any comments, please leave them down below under this video. Lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.